Well, we are back for another episode of the podcast, and I'm really excited because often I tell Jade and Kaylin things and then have to retell them on the podcast so you can also listen. And today is not that type of day. So,
which is really the true purpose of the podcast, is to let you all in on our private conversation. So this is the most authentic way to do it.
It is. It is. So without further ado, we're talking about May's to-do list. It's May, guys. First of all, how the fuck did we get 5 months into this year?
I cannot. I know. Yeah. I was actually struggling with that all weekend. I'm like, wait, stop. It can't be May already.
I know. We've almost completed half of a year.
That's so weird.
It is.
It is weird. I, much like I know Jade does, and you do too, Kaylin, we're kind of sitting there this weekend, like setting intentions and plans and things for May. And I had a really interesting download come up, and I'm doing it, but I want to share it with you guys. And I think the listeners might want to do something like this too. So that's kind of why we're gathered here today.
Nice.
Give it to us. Let's hear.
Yeah. So I was trying to make like my intentions, to-do list, etc. And sometimes you guys know I'm visual when I do like my notes and my work for shaman. Like I have to have paper and I have to have an erasable pen, and it just has to flow. So I had a blank piece of paper in front of me, and I literally drew a line down the middle, and I was like, my to-do list. And then I got that voice from Jade's mailbox where the money is / my intuition / those things, those voices that come up for us.
Yep.
And universe is like, make me a to-do list. And I was like, sure. Like, how does one respond to that? Like,
yeah, what did you title it as?
Right? The universe's to-do list for May?
Literally, I'm gonna if you guys are on YouTube, you should look. This is my
universe list. Nice.
So, and literally my list versus universe list. So literally it was a conversation as to like, we're giving you bigger assignments, but you are not giving me bigger assignments as to what you want me to do. And I was like, well, that's just a nice little universal God spirit, Mama Earth message. So I literally made a list of what I am supposed to do. And as long as I hold what is on my end, supposedly she's going to provide. She is. We know she is. However, I'm like, this is going to be one of those things where I'm like, we either publicly fail massively or publicly succeed massively.
I love your list is so like specific, like for example, having deep conversations. That's so cute.
I mean, it's what I'm supposed to do though.
So
every time I get to the root cause of someone's trauma, another piece of aligned comes in.
So do you find that like when you write it down this way, it's almost like the intention set and you don't have to remember, or it just kind of happens naturally, or do you go back to the list over and over again?
This style, I don't know what I'm going to do with.
Okay.
How I've used it thus far today was basically making my plan for this week and next week, making sure that the things I'm doing and I'm focusing on are on the left side of the tracks, if you will. Mm-hmm. So for those of you guys who are listening to the podcast, we will actually talk about it a little bit versus you just, hopefully tuning into YouTube. But like the list on my side says like purge, plan a family trip, plant medicine, which we'll talk about in a minute. Update website, take care of clients, have deep conversations, work out, self-care, hikes, date nights, spend time with kids. In no particular order, mind you.
Right.
Plant medicine does not typically go before my girls. I'm just clarifying that. So when they get older and they listen to the podcast, they're like, Mom, that's why you hated me during my 5th year. I'm like, no, not quite. And then the universe list is find an aligned social investor that aligns with us, match us up to more staff, help build our AI, expand into podcasts, invite more people to beta, and then release physical weight from body. So things that I would say for the past 5 months really focused it on the universe's to-do list and didn't really focus on my to-do list, which I mean, I can call me out all day long for, manifestation, law of attraction, blah, 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 all the ways that I've not quite done my own job. But it's fine.
So how did you feel after you did that? Like, what was you're like, okay.
Pretty much vibrationally lighter is what kind of comes through of like, okay, cool. Like if I focus on this, then I can obviously there's still things that I'm going to have to do. I'm still going to have to talk to people, which I'm like, if I'm having deep conversations, I can find the next staff. I can find the next investor. Yeah. But if I'm like digging and looking for the next investor, that's not how we find the next investor.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Like the universe was like, let me do this for you. Stop trying. Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of connection between the universe list and your list too, and the ways that like the universe can serve those things to you while you do the things on your list. So while you have deep conversations, while you care for your clients, while you have plant medicine, while you're on a trip with your family, like all those things can happen while the universe serves you the things on the universe's list. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I'll put a link in the show notes to the picture. I mean, I like going out naked, and we'll revisit back in June and tell you what happened. But it was just a very interesting and different way of looking at it versus like, we have to find an investor. We have to find a front-end developer. We have to build the AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very different energy. And it gets us kind of into more of the feminine, the playfulness, the receiving side of things, and kind of the more joy side of things.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
Instead of living in the muscle masculine side, I'm gonna make this happen.
I like the masculine side, you guys.
Balance.
I know. I don't need to. The thing is, I don't need to try to be in the masculine side. That comes up very naturally. I do need to try to be in the feminine side because that is not as natural. So even though, Jade, you have words.
No, even though I was just going to say, I mean, it's going to be more and more. So little Miss Cancer rising, I mean, that is as feminine as it gets. So your soul is rising to that energy. You're not even, it's just gonna, I can't even imagine. I'll know you still in 10 years and we'll all be like, now it's hard for you to like go back to the masculine side because the feminine is so effortless.
When you say rising, all I get is a visualization of a rock wall of someone like clawing up like a rock at it.
That is not what I see.
I'm like, oh yeah, she's rising. Ice pick.
It kind of feels like that, I think. Because, and that's why it's so important to know your whole chart, because you've got your childhood wound sitting right on top of your rising. That can really
fuck one up.
Yeah it can.
So that was the download that I needed to share with you guys, and
I
love it.
If anyone wants to give the universe a to-do list and assign it out for the month of May, or let me know. I'd like to follow along with you guys too, because I think it's a really interesting way of looking at things. And by the way, as I'm talking about this, the sun finally just came out, which is really exciting.
I think it's a great way to release burdens too. I mean, as someone that just like tries to carry all the things myself, that is like absolutely a great practice to be like, all right, I'm not going to be responsible for this. I'm going to give this to somebody else. Universe, you can do it.
You could make a universe to-do list on a citrus piece of note paper.
I could. I have my own to-do list that I've been working my way through today.
So
I really like that. I mean, that's really the only way to do any bit of life, is to just consistently and constantly recognize that that help is there for you. And all you have to do is ask for it in any moment.
And considering that process will not go easily. That's why plant medicine is top on the list for the month. I was like, I need to go to Costa Rica and or go to, do an Aya ceremony, and where that is going to come up soon. It's not, I can't leave tomorrow as much as I would like to.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to do, when you say plant medicine, are you planning like microdosing or like journeying at home? Are you wanting to go to do an ayahuasca retreat this month? Is that even a thing?
All of the above. I'm talking to a friend who's doing an Aya retreat. It's 3 hours away. Very different dose, different style, different brewing technique, etc. But that's a contemplation. I'm just seeing if I can work that in.
New Hampshire, the New Hampshire one?
New Hampshire. Yep.
Nice.
And then I just got my tincture from Peru sent to me that got delivered this morning. So I actually have a microdosed version where I can also, if I want to do my own ceremony, just take more than the said microdose.
Mm-hmm.
Tom and I are also starting a kind of ceremonial mushroom, it's with chaga, and a couple other different mushrooms, truffle microdosing thing. So we just ordered that. He was really excited about that, which is pretty cool. But it's there's like 3 different ones. One of them is for more setting intention for like coming into something new. Another one is like for love and kind of relationship and self-love piece. And then the third one was for, I don't remember what it is, but it's basically staged 30 days for each of these cycles. So we're doing that together too. And then all my sweet and bitter lotions came in.
Oh, cool.
So there's
So you will be able to bring those.
I'll be able to, I need to make, well, it's it's a concentrate of all of the herbs in an alcohol set. So I actually need to now make my own coconut shea butter lotion-y thing with the herbs. So I have to go kitchen witch for a little bit and then
You love doing that.
I was gonna say,
That is like
you're like, please
jam.
don't make me do that.
I need to find time to kitchen witch though. So that's the thing. So hence the to-do list. And then I just got another version of Sananga that came in too. So I have no shortage of plant medicine at my disposal.
Nice.
Oh, and then I have all the Blue Lotus too that I'm still working with. So, which a couple people had listened to the podcast and sent me like, apparently Blue Lotus is popular on TikTok right now.
Really?
Yeah. So
Taken as like a tincture?
no, people are talking about it on TikTok.
Just talking about it, not
Yeah. So
their experience with it.
yeah, I was like, oh, we might have to go on there and have a conversation about that because I'm sure there's some misinformation.
Cass has some feelings. She's
I
got
do have
something
some
to
feelings.
say.
So, I mean, I think the one that someone sent me was them like crumbling it up and like mixing it with cannabis and rolling it into a joint. And I was like, poor Lotus.
Lotus doesn't want to be
So
crumpled up and mixed.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
I know, it's
Yeah.
like, you could crumple her, but like mix her with lavender and mugwort and mullein and like if you want to blend, I'll tell you how to blend. Just don't mix her up with pot because it's the only thing you got.
Yeah.
So anyway. That's pretty much where we're at.
Thoughts?
Yeah.
Jade, you got things going on in your mind. I can see it.
Well, I was just thinking about, I spent about an hour with cards this morning because it's the first day of May and I do that the beginning of every month. And I was just thinking about past episodes we've recorded and just how that was probably a long time ago that we've really talked about the power of that, setting intentions at the beginning of every month. And it's continued to be probably, I would say, the most powerful part of my spiritual journey is that time that I spend every month, just really looking ahead at what's coming and then looking behind at what was. So I'm trying to think of a way to kind of say it succinctly. Like, for instance, last month I pulled the card that's called corn. You guys remember corn? The corn card.
Back last month?
The corn was back last month, but it was back for mothering. So I have a whole bunch of different, areas of my life that I pull for. And one, of course, is mothering. And to pull that card right now, like the corn card, which is abundance, which is you.
Hold on a second. Corn, CORN.
What am I saying? What are you?
I'm just making sure it's clear because it sounded like for a moment you said porn card. And for mothering,
Sure.
I was like, let's just say that it's a CORN corn
Sure.
card.
Well, anyone listening to this podcast would assume porn came out of my mouth, not corn, but it is corn. So that's like, you planted the field, it's abundant, enjoy it. And I'm like, that's not really what's happening right now in my journey as a mother. Like, I am like, neck deep in a lot of different things going on with my son still. And then that card like completely switched my perspective. I was like, look how far we've come already. Wow.
Mhm.
Like it's like this permission to just like rest and just be, because I'll give very specific direction in the mothering cards. Watch this, watch this, watch this. And I do that. And the corn card was just like all last month, I just like kind of like gave myself permission to just kind of enjoy what had already happened. All the work that we've already done. So yeah, that's one example.
I love that. What did you pull for this month for mothering?
That is a good question. What did I pull? See how quickly it comes in my mind and then goes right out.
That's why you got to write it down.
That's why I write everything down and I take notes and I refer to it constantly throughout the month when I'm really feeling like I need direction or guidance on that specific topic.
And while Jade's looking it up too, I will say that sometimes, and by sometimes I mean all the time, the card doesn't manifest until the 28th or 29th of the month.
It's so true, Cass. Yes, that's so true. It's interesting because the card for this month is very similar. It's magic, but it was reversed, which means I need the medicine of that card. So remembering that the world is infused with magic. Don't become cynical. Be a little child and cultivate curiosity. So that's what I'm supposed to do as a mother, like seeing it through those eyes as, I kind of push through all the things I need to push through for him. So that was really good. And then like I was telling Cass before we started recording, I have us like our money and resources, and I have our, passion. But when I pull those cards for the month, it's what do I need to know about myself as I bring that into not like what I need to know about you, because your journey is you, but what do I need to know about myself?
Yeah.
And for money, I think this is interesting. I got medicine too for the mystical shaman. And it says, be careful what you pray for. The mystical shaman cautions you against relentless attachment to a certain form that you think will make you happy or prosperous, etc. Seeing your dream come into being, had you considered what you were willing to sacrifice? Perhaps you've been telling yourself a certain story for so long, the story that only when you reach this particular goal will you be happy, that you will arrive. You didn't even notice you're no longer the person who wanted those outcomes. You may have moved beyond these stories. Let it be a story. Move on. And I was just like, damn.
I can't wait till the 28th of the month when we find out what that card's about.
I mean, for me right now, it's pretty obvious. It's like, quit being attached to XYZ has to happen in order for us to be able to keep going, for us to feel comfortable, for us to feel safe. Like, that information will be invaluable to me for so many things. So got to sit with that for a while, but it takes me like all month to process like my 6 different card pulls and really sit with them. And, yeah. So that's kind of my May 1st story.
Damn.
It's gonna be May.
Oh man, Jade.
You had some words drop about May at the end of April, Cass.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for the Marco Polo that I dropped you guys this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I forgot about that. That comes and goes.
It was a pretty big deal. You were saying it before you got before
I got the to-do list.
Yeah.
That's true. I forgot about that. I also had let's see, an espresso martini and a Chardonnay that night. So
that is so unusual for you.
Exactly. I had 2 drinks. Actually, Tom and I were going to share an espresso martini, but she made an extra one for us. So
nice.
An extra one.
Exactly. She's like, I overpoured. Both were like filled to the brim. I'm like, you way overpoured. Like that's not an overpour. That was
a choice.
That's another martini. I've bartended before. I know how that works. Yeah. So we were out for dinner and we were chatting about the accelerator that we're applied to for Aligned. And it actually, the application just went through today. So we're waiting to now hear back, which is exciting. But I was like, okay, when this goes through, I need to take our CPO and we need to, go tap into Mama Aya, and we need to get information from her as to like, what's next. So I'm like, I can't do this solo without like her to like, I hear her. Yes. I channel her. Yes. But like, I need more. Give me more, Mama. So I was like, I need another connection point with her to make that relationship deeper. So then my brain started going as it does, and was like, oh, well, if I take our CPO, our CTO is going to have a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out. And then he's obviously going to have to go, in which case I was like, okay, like, well, that makes total sense, because then that kills two birds with one stone and two egos with one stone as well.
Oh God.
And then I was like, but wait, I'm like, I have a partnership where if I bring 3 people with me, I go for free. So I was like, well, then Jade clearly has to go. So just kind of like spiraling through of like this thing in my head as to like where I could see all of the pieces and how they connect for like our personal up leveling, the business up leveling, how things work together. And I was like, once you go to that level of consciousness and clarity and work, I was like, then it also changes the dynamics of our internal team. And I was like, maybe that takes care of the conversation between, job roles and responsibilities, because then it's a non-issue. So it's like 10 birds, 1 stone. Here's how it goes, guys. So
Yeah, you did that. And you also were just getting a lot of information the last couple of days of April around feeling that May was going to be huge.
Oh, yes, I did say that.
For money and resources. And
I get
all of
pivotal,
that.
but I don't know what that means. And I don't know if it's a money thing or I'm just projecting
Right.
on it that it's a money thing.
Yeah.
But it will be different June 1. It will be unrecognizable by June 1. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if, we all give up and jump off our respective bridges.
Right.
Just
Right.
kidding.
Not if it's your boat and I'm motoring it. I'm sorry. There's no bridge to jump off of. We can swim.
All I can just picture is me being like jumping off the front of Titanic and Kaylin being like, in the movie, be like, I'll save you. Totally lost train of thought though, but no, I just think it's all of these things are coming together. And even I was listening to the Chani app today, or for my Cancer Rising reading specifically, and she was talking about obviously, let's see, eclipse in Scorpio, the last of like 2 or 3 decades, she said. I forget what it is. Basically, do you know that, Jade?
Yeah, no. So 2000, wherever
you
you
so
were.
it was 17. Was it 1700s?
Oh, I mean, there may have been a Scorpio Taurus eclipse season, but there's been way more than that. I mean, there was one a whole slew of them in 2004 and then again in 2013.
She was saying this is the end of the Scorpio Taurus eclipse at the South Node.
Oh, yes.
For a really, really long time.
Yeah, the nodes for a really, really long time. Yes.
So.
Yes, that's what you mean. Not the eclipse season, but yeah, the North Node is moving into, it's moving out of Taurus and into Aries. Yeah. Aries, Libra.
So that's they were saying the next eclipse season is not what we've been used to for the past couple of years either.
No.
Past like 2 years, I think it is.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. That's why I said the whole hold on to your potatoes gang thing in the last podcast. And I'm still right there, like waiting to hold on to my potatoes because it's coming up in a few days. By the time people listen to this, it will have May 5th and that eclipse will already have happened. So
yeah, well, if they listen to it the day it drops, it'll be happening as they listen.
It'll be happening as they get the last podcast we recorded.
Woo-hoo!
So
I think, right?
Yeah.
Go live on Thursday?
4th is Thursday, so the 5th is Friday.
Okay. I don't know. It all blends together at this point. So
I just had to add something to my calendar on Thursday, and it was the 4th. That's why I generally don't know those things that
I just didn't know if we had one recorded already for that week, and this one's the week after, because we normally record.
Yeah, this is for next week. The one that's dropping this week on the 4th is the one that we recorded last week.
Okay, cool. So you guys will hear this basically mid-May, and you can start your universe to-do list mid-May then. So anything else?
Love it.
Kaylin, what's going on with you? Your turn.
Honestly, a whole lot of just holding on to my potatoes in the parenting department. That's it. I had therapy today, and I basically spent most of the hour talking about how I am just like basically dangling outside of my window of tolerance by my fingers, all because of my children, and really just the one child. So, just doing my best to crawl back inside the window after I get launched out by my child, and then I just crawl back inside. So
we learned something at swim lessons this weekend with Amelia, and
What's
it's
that?
elbow, tummy, knee to get into out of the pool. So maybe you try elbow, tummy, knee to get in the window.
I like that.
Visualize that helps.
I feel like anyone that has a child or has had a child
or will have a child
will probably go through the exact same thing. But as Jade knows, when it comes to me, when I am feeling it, I feel it in the home front. So that's just the way it goes. Things can be absolutely batshit crazy at work, and it won't affect me in the slightest bit. It's just like just hanging out. And if shit gets batshit crazy at home, I'm like, oh, yeah.
This is not where I want to spend the essence of my being, just dealing with and managing this fiery Leo child of mine.
Yes.
So much Leo in his chart, and the Virgo. It's a lot. Plus he's a manifestor, which we have mentioned so many times.
Yeah.
And I just know they're tricky. They got to be tricky. Did you need lots to do? I mean, you strike me like I can imagine you as a child, and you would have needed so many different avenues to spend your energy and time.
Mine was different.
I know yours was
so
different.
Maybe in a normal childhood.
I know, but can you imagine if there would have been any normalcy in your childhood? Do you think that would have served you?
I don't know. I was explaining to Diana this weekend, because she wanted to go get a bird to land on her hand and eat seed from her hand. I was like, okay, you have to sit out there and hold it. They'll come to you. Just have to sit really still. And it lasted all of 4 seconds without her wiggling and moving, and then being like, it's not coming with me. And I was like, I just remembered flashback to my childhood. I could sit there for 6 hours and not move. So
if you wanted that thing.
Yes and no, or just to get that little check mark of accomplishment. So, but it was interesting because it's just a very different. So I don't know. And I think there's a lot of parallels between me and Diana when she was little. And I kind of see what my childhood would have been like, which she's very activity oriented, very needs to be we jokingly say entertainment. She needs that aspect of things. So I feel that would have been possibly mine. So I don't know.
All I can see is charts. All I can see is charts as you're talking. Her chart, Hayden's chart. You guys have some fiery children, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just the willful, smart. And that's the thing is I know you're smart. I know this is good for you, but please, could you just be a little bit dumber for a moment? Maybe.
No.
So just been dealing with it. Friday it was cereal all over the kitchen. Sure. Today he had one pair of jeans left that he had picked up to wear today that were clean in his drawer. Other pants, but jeans. and they didn't feel right on his body. They weren't comfortable, but he wanted to wear jeans today. He didn't want to wear his other pants. And so we spent 30 minutes this morning having like a full-on meltdown with himself, like a conversation with himself in meltdown mode over said jeans. And when I asked him how I could help, he said, "You already know what the problem is." It's like, hey. He was like, "You know I don't like these jeans." And I was like, "Well, I didn't pick those jeans out. You did."
Wow.
"What about these pants?" "I want to wear jeans today." I was like, "All right, I'm gonna let you work this one out. I'll be out here."
We had a conversation about jeans today too that were very similar.
It's always something, always.
That's interesting.
Guys, I'm sorry. I am not trying to gloat or anything, but I'm
Gloat,
so
baby.
glad that I'm done
Gloat.
with those years.
God bless it.
I'm so glad.
I can't wait till we all live close by, Kaylin, and we can just drop Kennedy and Amelia off at Auntie Jade's.
I will take them. You know I will.
Yeah. Oh, I will give him to you. Kennedy, honestly, it's Anthony and I got it was like last week, and it had just been like one thing after another with Hayden. And when we were finally going to bed, and we're both just like utterly exhausted from just like parenting and not losing our shit, because that's the deal. Like, it is easy, right, to yell at your kid and just be like, "I'm done." But it takes so much energy to reason with crazy and to keep your cool and to just be like, "It's okay. It's okay." And like, here's a tool that I know will help you, and you're going to tell me that you don't want to use this tool. Here's another tool that I know will help you, and you're going to tell me that you don't want to use this tool. Oh, I love you. That was a great choice. Even though it's like, you're really making a fucking terrible decision, and I just want to tell you how it is. That is the part that just drains me. And so Aunt and I are both just like drained, done. And he's like, "You know what's funny? I really thought that Kennedy was going to be the hard one. Like, I thought, oh man, we're having another kid, we're starting over." And he's like, easy. Hayden. Hard.
For this season.
Yeah.
There was a TikTok video the other day, because I feel like things can be summed up in TikTok videos, where it was the first generation of gentle parenting. Have you seen that?
No.
It's like the woman like trying to like calm down and like breathe and like rationalize with her kid. And then she like eventually just loses her shit and like throws something against the wall. And it says, "Sorry, I'm a first generation gentle parent."
That's me.
I feel like that's kind of, collective.
That's awesome.
That is so me.
I'm going to do this. Here's a tool. You.
Aunt and I frequently will like go into our room, close the door, and be like, "How's it going out here?" And he's like losing his shit in the hall. Close the door. Open the door. "Still having a hard time brushing your teeth?"
Yep. Our joking conversation is something when one of the kids is, because Amelia is now at the age where she can also start playing that, which is super fun.
Luckily, she is. How many months? 8. How many months is she?
18, 19 now.
Yeah, so I was going to say 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and has a lot of opinions. So our joke now is, who's our favorite kid of the day? So just you wait. You're about a year away from that, Kaylin.
Oh no, we talk about that often. We'll be like,
Yeah, but right now, I mean, there's
Kennedy's going to win. Kennedy's going to win most of the time.
He is. There's he's chill. He's so much different of a baby than Hayden ever was. Hayden as a baby is just like Hayden as a 5-year-old. Just has more words, and it's a different thing. But like Hayden as a baby, like if he would start an upset cycle, we would literally have to go through the whole upset cycle to get to the end. Kennedy, if he's upset, he will like end it. He'd be like, "I'm really upset right now." All right. And then it's like, chill. And it's like, "I'm really upset right now." When we're done. Hayden, now we have to go through the whole fucking cycle to get back to the beginning, but it's different, and the stakes are higher. It's the same thing. So I'm like, I can expect that Kennedy probably will be like, "I'm going to make a bad choice right now." And then we'll be okay. And then it's like, "I'm going to make a bad choice right now." It's like, all right.
So the moral of this podcast is have kids, you guys. They're fun. This
Jade,
podcast
please
is
just
the
keep
best.
telling us it's all worth it and it gets better, right? That's the little beacon of light at the end of
It's
it.
just a different kind of hard, the older
Podcast
they
title
get.
is called Universe and Birth Control.
There you go. It's about right. But I'm like you, Kaylin. I do know some moms, honestly, who love that season, the toddler season. And I never did, honestly. And my kids know that. They're soon to be like, we know. Like, I don't really I don't like that season. It wasn't fun. I had a lot more fun with them as they got older.
What age, Jade? What age?
Did I start liking them?
And I
more?
swear to God, if you say 18, I'm gonna come through this computer.
So weird.
No, I had a season like 6 or 7 until they hit puberty. Like, it just got better progressively.
You want to know why? Because at 7 years old, the wrong kind of toothpaste doesn't feel like the end of the world to them because they have the ability to process things, and not everything feels like the end of the world. But before 7, the world is ending because the toothpaste isn't the right toothpaste.
And the brains of that age and the brains of kids in puberty look exactly the same. I saw this scan, and they return to the wrong kind of toothpaste. We'll send them,
into space.
They return to the wrong kind of toothpaste at what age?
As soon as they hit
Puberty.
That's exciting.
In fact, I've said it a lot, but like, my theory after 4 kids is the biggest issues you have when they are toddlers up until age 7 are the biggest issues you'll have with them when they're teenagers. It'll just be a little stronger. Seriously, I'm sorry,
well,
but
here's
it's
the
true.
deal, guys.
It's true.
I'm gonna need to hire someone to be a mom when Hayden gets to that age.
Yeah.
Because I already feel myself aging.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm just getting really good at gentle parenting by the time he's that age.
I have a
I
feeling.
don't know.
I also have a feeling he might need a lot of physical exertion. Like when he's older, that age, there will be more opportunities for him to be involved in sports and stuff. And that will really, really help mitigate it.
Oh yeah.
Really help.
Interesting. Jade, first of all, I think you need to write a parenting book because I've never heard that theory.
Oh, yeah.
Is that is that a Jadeism, or is that a?
Yeah, no, I came up with that, but I've talked about it lots and lots with different friends who, and they all agree. They're like, let me think about it. Like, oh my God, that's so true. I'm like, yeah.
So if Diana's biggest thing is clinginess, needs to be in the bathroom with me when I'm using the bathroom at age almost 6. She gonna need to be
So what's underneath the clingy though? Is there a whininess to it? Whining a lot? Okay. Because that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna just be really whiny and really it's not good enough. So she might not be like, Mom, I want to be in the bathroom with you, but she'll whine about whatever it is that you didn't do. It'll be whininess.
Oh my God.
Underneath the clinginess.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And this is how we die.
Yeah. No. Yeah, Sophia had some major sensory disorders when she was a toddler, and they just went away around age 6 or 7. I was like, well, thank God. And they came rearing back double, triple time when she hit puberty. And because she was my third, I was able to make that. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, just like Audrey and Alana had. And so I was able to reason with her a little bit more about that, and then ask her what she needed, because she was 13, 14. So that helped, just knowing that and remembering that.
Kaylin, do you now feel like we have ticking time bombs on our hands? Because that's what I feel like at the end of this podcast.
I'm trying to stay positive, and I'm like, I just have another year and a half till I get to my break. 7 years old. I can do anything for another year and a half. I've done it for 5.5 years. I can do it a little bit longer.
And my girls started earlier, 5 was great for most of them, 5, 6. I think boys are a little later, but it might be.
I don't know. I think I really fucked myself over having a second kid, because Hayden was so self-sufficient and so just really, really good actually up until Kennedy was born. And then this little switch flipped, And now it's like, he needs help making his breakfast in the morning. What? Like he used to, like at 4, he would like push over his stool, climb up to the thing, grab his bowl out, grab his cereal, grab his spoon, grab the milk down off the top shelf, pour it all, not make a mess.
Nice.
Bring it to his table, did it all. Like
That's amazing.
I mean, my entire pregnancy, there were days that, like, you guys know I was really sick, and he would literally like he would get himself up, get himself dressed, make his own cereal, and I would like roll out of bed to like fix his hair and then drive him to school.
Hayden,
I didn't have to coach him through any of it.
He's too smart. He knows that he knew that you couldn't. Now he knows he needs to make a point. Hey, mom, I am just as important as the other kid. Okay. And I will scream about that as long as I need until I'm satisfied that you understand that I am just as important as the next one. And I feel safe enough. And I know you're strong enough right now to handle me. Like that's literally what he's saying to you. When you were sick, he knew you couldn't. Oh, that is so true about kids. They're so smart. When I've been really sick before, they'll just be magic and help me. And then they just revert. It's like, it's all a matter of they feel safe. They feel safe around you to be the ugliest versions of themselves.
The solution is make them feel unsafe.
Yes, correct.
Sorry, first generation gentle parenting.
No, Anthony and I, honestly, after like 2 weeks ago, it was really hard. Then last week was like we finally looked at him and we're like, Hayden, because we have honest conversations, like, you know, like if we like raise our voice, because he's really sensitive to raising your voice, which like you really can't raise your voice with him, like very sensitive. Even like if someone at school raises their voice, like he will come home and tell us, and it like deeply hurts him. So we really can't yell at him, like really, really, really can't. And so if we do, even like he can sense your tone. So like if I have a very short tone with him, I don't yell, but I'm like, okay. He'll be like, Mom, why are you mad at me? So now we're like, okay, Hayden, I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. Mommy is really, really tired, and she's been giving a lot of energy to put up with your bad behavior. And so she just needs you to give her a little bit of space. And he legit will be like, all right.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Those ones that are too smart for their own good.
Yeah. So he understands. Like if I tell him like I'm not going to be able to function, I'm outside my window of tolerance, he's like, oh, okay, I'll lay off this one today.
But you can't make that up.
No, I can't make it up. Absolutely not.
You can't say you're outside your window of tolerance and not really be, because he'll know. He'll be like, oh, no, you're not.
He'll be like, oh, looks like you're doing just fine. Let me go. Need some more attention.
Yeah. So our roast, if we're sticking through that protocol, was clearly children today. Blanket across.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Jade, I am nervous and excited to test your theory.
Yeah.
I think there's
I stand by it. I stand by it pretty strongly. I've never, read about that or anything, but I just think yes.
Well, I mean, if you want to write a book before our kids become teenagers, we'd appreciate it. Hey, thanks.
Please. How to deal with it times 2.
Like 6 years, 7 years. So go.
The book would be basically titled "Everything I Did Wrong and How You Can Do It Right."
I thought you were going to say everything I did wrong and how you can do it wrong too.
That would be even better, I think.
Everything I did wrong.
Be right back buying domain name.
And how you can do it wrong too. That's a better title for sure.
It's a working title.
Well, we look forward to your book coming out in 6.5 to 7 years, and
Perfect.
We'll create a waiting list.